You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life feels lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
From the Peach State, welcome to Atlanta, Georgia, where tonight the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series has descended here as we make our march toward the playoffs as it's Sherman going toward the sea. Parker Retzlaff returned to victory lane last week when we were at Darlington Raceway after Alexander Gangler pulled off the surprise win 2 weeks ago at Daytona International Speedway. And tonight, we look to see if Parker's going to return to his winning ways and go back-to-back, or if someone else is going to punch their ticket to the 2024 playoffs right here on Sim Racing Media. I'm Dave Regal, flying solo as it should be tonight here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth, and I want to thank you for making SRM a part of your evening, because I'll be with you every step of the way, from the green flag to the checkered flag, right here on Sim Racing Media. And folks, glad to have all of you in with us tonight. I hope that you were tuned in last night during the Cup Series. What a race we had. What a finish we had. You know, ever since Atlanta went through the change, the repave, the reconfigure, added this quad oval and the fresh asphalt around these four turns, My God, this place has turned into a miniature Daytona. I wouldn't go as far as Talladega, but Daytona definitely has some possibility here. We're going to see a lot of drafting. We're going to see a lot of close racing, and we're going to see a lot of white knuckles on those steering wheels tonight, so make sure that you tune in and keep it right here on Sim Racing Media. We want to thank you for welcoming us into your homes, onto your phones, wherever you may be and however you may be listening. Thank you for tuning in as we're right here at the 1.5-mile raceway. 84 degrees here in Atlanta in sim time. 114 degrees on the asphalt. Now, that's a little bit cooler than we started with last night during the Cup Series. The interesting thing is going to be whether or not that asphalt cools off and the track grips up. I mean, we talked about it a lot going into last evening's race, and it's going to be a topic of discussion tonight as well. Of course, the other thing is, the playoff picture in Cup got a lot more clear last night. We see a lot of changes here in the point standings for Xfinity, as well as, of course, that we don't have that graphic up tonight. However, we can go through that with you, folks, as Brandon Minto maintains his lead. But crawling up in the standings is Rich Jett out of Smithfield, Pennsylvania. Schwanksville, Pennsylvania, I'm sorry. He climbs up into 8th position. Trent Curtis hops up 2 into 9th. Sam Bolin now sits in 10th position, but atop the pile right now out of South Jersey, Mikey Mac McConville trails Brandon Minto from Norman, Oklahoma by just 1 point. It's getting that close as we've got just a couple of weeks left before the playoffs, and in fact, we'll take a quick peek at that as well. Here we are at Atlanta Motor Speedway. We've got Watkins Glen next week, and then the Xfinity Series regular season finale will be September 23rd at Bristol Motor Speedway. It's Bristol, baby. We're going short track racing to finish off the year, the regular season of the year, before we start the round of 12. So a lot has to be decided over the next 3 weeks, and a lot will be decided over the next 163 laps, 250 miles, right here in Atlanta, Georgia. We want to thank all of you once again for tuning in. Make sure that if you haven't, make sure that you subscribe and turn on those bell notifications. And pour yourself a drink and get relaxed with us tonight here on Sim Racing Media. Going to get a chance here to talk with the driver of the number 1. Where the heck is he? Here's Mikey Mac, as we're going to watch him on his opening lap, and for some reason that paint is not what it should be. And in fact, we're going to peel back the curtain here just a smidge, as let's widen things out back to our blimp cam, because there's no way that paint scheme is even close to correct. You'll have to forgive me, folks, for peeling back this layer of simulation. Let's get that out of here, and this, and this, and this, and that. Now we'll go back to Mikey Mac and see what he looks like, as that's going to have to reload here on the one machine. And once Mike McConville completes his qualifying run, let's see where he is right now. Mikey Mac just went fast time. Holy Christmas. Nope, I lie. He goes P2. Woof. So here's the way that it's going to look, folks. Brandon Minto and Mike McConville going to sit 1-2 tonight. And in fact, we're going to get a chance right now as I go to pull him up here. Let's look for old Mikey Mac. He's going to be down here in the JR TCR stable. Mikey Mac, it's Dave up here in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. How we doing?
Buddy, I'm doing good. Mama Mac's here in the YouTube.com live chat cheering you on. Addison DeRossier is cheering on Brandon Minto. And I just looked at the standings. You guys are both separated by 1 point. And now you're separated by less than 200th of a second on the timing tower.
One spot.
Less than 200th of a second, sir. He laid 31.99. You went 32.01.
That's literally probably about 100 feet of he probably cut the trioval a little bit more.
Right. So,
Man.
So take us through that tonight. Here you are loading in, getting ready to make that charge. Do you want to be the regular season victor, or do you want to just back off and make it into the playoffs and we'll deal with the rest later?
Well, as I was telling the guys, it was going to come down to where I qualified. If I was somewhere in the top 5, we're going for stage points and we're going to go get it. And if we were anywhere behind that, we were just pulling the ripcord and going to the back like Denny Hamlin. But with better planning at the end, we're going to not crash.
You can plan to not crash all you want, but did you watch last night's Cup Series race? Oh, wait, you were in it and then
Oh
not
yeah, I
in
was
it.
in it.
In it and then not in it, sir. I mean, let's talk about plans. I mean, everybody can start here and plan to finish in victory lane, but only one can get there.
True, very true. But man, you got to have the mindset that you're gonna be in victory lane. It's all mental first.
Oh,
Especially at
there's
these
a
traffic
lot of people
tracks.
in this league that are mental, believe me.
Oh, I've realized.
I mean, look, and it's been a big week for sports in our lives. I mean, of course, for you, the Philadelphia Eagles pick up the W down in Brazil. And, of course, then the Phillies have a good weekend. Not so great last night, but it is what it is. They've got the Rays tonight. And, of course, for yours truly tonight, the return of the great one, Joe Buck, alongside of the pride of Henrietta, Oklahoma, Troy Aikman. It's the best week of the year for sports, really.
Troy Aikman.
Don't
Gross.
start. Look, I love you. Don't make me do it.
Hang on. Let me call out Mom. Scrambled egg brains.
Look, it is. You know what? Your mom told me that she's a Cowboys fan. I'm just saying.
Die hard.
I get it. And look, he can have all the scrambled eggs he wants. He's still the most handsome son of a gun on broadcast television. I'm just saying. I do a lot of his body double work.
Oh, that's fair. I can
Yeah.
see the resemblance.
Yeah, right?
Was it actually you that won those 3 Super Bowls?
Was I alive? Yes. I remember sitting on the floor in the family room watching them beat the Steelers for Super Bowl 30. I also remember getting nacho cheese on the carpet and having my ass kicked.
Hey, all I can say is I know you guys got 5, but at least my team's been relevant in the last 25 years.
Look, I'm fine with that. I am, and quite frankly, I'm not a you guys, okay? Jerry Jones has never cut me a check. I've given him more money than he's given me. Don't you worry. And I've given him more money than joy he's given me. Let's be honest.
I was right there with whatever his name is, the Eagles owner.
Jeffrey
Lurie. Yeah.
Jeffrey.
Ah.
Oh, Jeffrey.
Bruh.
Yes. Oh, that's going to be the new thing on Fox 29.
Oh, good Lord.
Yep. I'll be tweeting that later to Mike Jarek. Jeffrey. Anyway, buddy, listen, good luck tonight. And I've, of course, got to go talk to Minto, but make sure you go out there and try to bring one back to South Jersey tonight.
There was some team dissension last week real quick, and I'm just laughing that Austin Green didn't make the race.
Oh, dear.
So I'm going to go
I
have
see
a
that
good
now.
laugh with the boys.
All right, buddy, good luck tonight.
Appreciate you. Hope to see you in victory lane there, man.
My man. We're going to send Mikey Mack all the way back up to the JRTCR stable. Let's get a hold of Ferta Motorsports' very own and only driver, Brandon Minto, out of Norman, Oklahoma. Of course, the home state of the great one, Troy Kenneth Aikman. But tonight we're focused here on the 12 machine. Brandon, listen, you're starting on the pole alongside of Mike McConville. How is this going to work out? I give you an introduction like that, and you're not in your seat. All of you are why I drink. There he is. Yes.
All
Jesus,
right.
don't do
Sorry.
that to me.
No, standard for how my season's been going near the end of the year here. Had a hardware issue, and my pedals stopped working, so I unplugged all my steering wheel and everything. Hopefully, it'll get it fixed right here in the warm-up. It actually ended up just throttle stopped working. So
Is that a problem for racing?
I sure hope not. I mean, the throttle's kind of important for racing, but
It's fine.
yeah.
Set it to cruise.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't end up going out on me, especially I somehow got the pole. Hopefully it doesn't go out going into turn 1.
I mean, look, I saw your comment in the YouTube.com live chat that you didn't cut the quad oval. We've got about 45 seconds left. All I want to know is how are you going to try to scurry away from McConville when there's only 1 point separating the two of you?
I'm just not going to do anything too aggressive. Hopefully just try to hold the bottom. The biggest issue I've been facing is I've been burning the right front. The right front's just been getting too hot, so later in the run, if I'm on the bottom line, it's hard to hold the bottom. So hopefully there's not too much aggressive stuff going on up front, so I can take a little bit, I can let out the throttle a little bit, entering the turns, and just hold the lead and everything, and just pray nothing crazy happens up front. Kind of like Ryan Blaney I think it was Ryan Blaney who said it yesterday. Probably the safest place to be at Atlanta is up front to avoid a lot of the mayhem. So hopefully I can keep it up front.
All right, buddy. Well, listen, good luck as you're going to roll off on the pole position tonight. 200th of a second separating Brandon Minto from Mike McConville. So it's going to be an interesting night. I'm excited to see the two of you go at it. Good luck as you guys are ready to hop into the cockpit.
All right. Thanks, Dave.
That, of course, the voice of Brandon Minto, driver of the number 12 out of Norman, Oklahoma. And right now, here we go, getting ready to grid up and get ready to rock and roll as these drivers are finally hopping into the cockpit. I know that it hasn't been too long during pre-race, but I feel like sometimes this can go on forever while we're anxiously waiting the drop of the green flag. Brandon Minto is going to be our pole sitter tonight. He's joined in the front row by Mike McConville. Parker Retzlaff, also from the JAR TCR stable, he's going to start on the inside of row number 2 with Dennis Mickelson to the outside. Row 3 is Diego Rodriguez and Noah Rainwater, while Logan Giesbrecht and Will Young going to be in row 4. So rounding out your starting top 5 is Michael Pilardi with Austin Call starting in 10th. 11th and 12th are Michael Witt and Nick Hansen here in row number 6, while row 7, and if we could just advance that, thank you, SDK, as row 7 going to be Claude Furland and Chris Claude. Daniel Moynihan and Bennett Allen starting row number 8, while row 9 goes to Matt Mackin and Jeremy Brown. Noah Hamilton going to be side-by-side with Drew Glover, rounding out your starting top 20, while Eli Tomlin and Richard Pruitt going to be in row number 11. John Bawalda makes his return to the asphalt tonight out of Willow Grove, Pennsylvania, along with Keith Black to his outside, while Kavaja Holt and Brock Packard going to be starting back in row number 13. Randall Watkins, Mr. 305 in 27th position alongside Anthony Savignano in the 50 car starting in 28th. Trevor Ryan and Cody Morgan going to be in row 15, while Sylvain Joly and Dan Morgan starting in row number 16. We're getting just about to the end here as Alexander Gangler, Ron Fitting, Tony Burt, my good buddy, my brother in Christ, starting in 35th, and Steve Herring in 37th. And shotgun on the field tonight going to go to Sylvain Joly, our neighbor from the north, as we get ready to rock and roll tonight. 47 drivers tried to make it in, but only 36 get to take the green flag as Brandon Minto leads us down here. It's a very interesting, something's wrong here. We'll get that squared away. As the iRacing.com pace car, yeah, nobody's paint scheme is correct. We'll get that fixed. Don't you worry, guys. As the iRacing.com pace car leads us down into turn number 4, we want to thank everybody for tuning in. Make sure that you call a friend, get yourself settled in. And as the iRacing.com pace car dips away, the only thing that's left to do is it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab some popcorn and Coca-Cola and settle in. Race fans, it's show time! Lap 1 of 163 underway as Brandon Minto leads the field. We're going to zip out here and go radio style for just a moment as drivers get themselves underway, as we've got to try one more time here to fix these number problems. A checkup here in line as we come out of turn number 4. Drivers making their way through turn 4. We can see that that's Brandon Minto as we keep a close eye on that. Let's drop over here and see if we can't fix this color issue, because this is different. Now, this is 2 nights in a row with something dumb going on. Why not? As Parker Retzlaff has already climbed his way up into the race lead. As now everybody's car is back into that primer color. Let's see if it's this. I know what it is. Let's try this. Let's get that fixed right about now. As we wait for everyone's paint scheme to load back in, this is kind of an interesting development here. Parker Retzlaff has now come up to the race lead, waiting for everybody to hopefully get this back into the way that it's supposed to be, as we see Chris Claude snapping into his paint scheme. There's Brandon Minto in the number 12 Okie machine, and Parker Retzlaff in the Funkaway Chevrolet. And here we are on lap number 6. Now, of course, we do have full stage racing here in the Xfinity Series. 163 laps the scheduled distance. Stage 1 going to end at the conclusion of lap number 40, and, of course, Stage 2 will be at the end of lap number 80. 4 total tire sets, so we're looking somewhere in and around that 45 to 55 lap window for tires. And the interesting thing here at Atlanta is, you know, unlike its super speedway counterparts as, you know, Daytona and Talladega go, tire wear does become a factor here. And in fact, we can even check out our weather conditions right now on the racetrack since we've gone over to race trim. Let's see what that kind of looks like here as we pull that up. Track temperatures actually increased, so it's loosened up just a little bit. That puts a little bit more oil to the top of the asphalt, which allows these cars to loosen and slip slide around here on lap number 8. Parker Retzlaff, Brandon Minto, Mike McConville, Diego Rodriguez, Will Young, Dennis Mickelson, Austin Call, Noah Rainwater, Daniel Moynihan, and Nick Hansen round out your top 10. Let's take a look here on board with Daniel Moynihan as we go on to the nose cam. There's the young man out of Boston, Massachusetts with the golden throat. As he rolls it out of turn 2, you can see that he's being very patient tonight, not coming out of his line. He knows that he's getting a little bit of a run here on the 40, but we're going to watch him back off. He doesn't want to get too greedy here early on in the race, especially less than 10 laps in the books already. As we complete lap number 9 here at the line, we can see most of these drivers, there's a lot of wind out here on the racetrack today. It's pushing some of these cars back and forth, and we can see just how that is loosening many of these guys up. And of course, it's still, you know, a gorgeous sight when you get to see 30 cars, 36 cars snaking down the backstretch, as now Diego Rodriguez runs in 4th position. And as we come back onto the front stretch, here is Diego Rodriguez right behind Brandon Minto. He's got the 25 of Dennis Mickelson behind to help push. But for the time being, everybody kind of falls into line. This isn't like last night's Cup Series race where all kind of hell had broken loose early on. As Addison DeRossier says that she loves hearing a Minto interview. Glad to be able to do that. Of course, as soon as I said that there was no mayhem, we have mayhem here as we're waiting to see what SDK timing and scoring has decided the problem was. As we're going to look and see where everyone may or may not be. As the pace car enters turn 4, looking for anybody who was involved in something, and this may just simply be debris on the racetrack, perhaps a phantom caution flag, as it looks like Parker Retzlaff is going to come down pit road. Not sure what he's going to be doing here to the 5 car. Looks like this is going to be left side tires. Not sure what the cause of that's going to be, but here we are. This is going to change things atop the pile. Brandon Minto goes back to the race lead. He's got our points number 2 in the second slot. Mike McConville He runs in second position. Diego Rodriguez looks like they decided not to put my name on this car tonight, as the 41 of Will Young being scored as the 68 runs in fourth. Dennis Mickelson in the 25. Austin Call, Noah Rainwater, Daniel Moynihan, Nick Hansen, and Michael Pilardi here in the 10 machine. As I was mentioning a little bit ago, Addison DeRossier says that she loves hearing a Minto interview. You're welcome. As Ahmed Altalaf, 250,000. 250,000 what? Mama Max says, let's have a clean race. Well, that has not happened already. As Ahmed Altaf says, let's go Moynihan. Aaron Mack cheering on the 53. So obviously there are some Moyna fans in the house tonight. I like that term coined last week, and I'm going to stick with it for a little while here. As the iRacing.com pace car lights are out, we'll get ready to go back green flag racing here on what will be lap number 15. The iRacing.com pace car bringing us into turn number 4 here on lap number 14 of 163. So definitely shorter than last night. Praise God. Life. Last night was getting a little late, if you will. Turned into almost an all-nighter for some of us as we hit the Geico restart zone and we're back underway. Of course, if you're going to be up late, at least make sure that you're having the time of your life. Side by side goes the 25 of Dennis Mickelson. We're going to widen things out to the blimp view. Watch the 68. That's actually the 41 of Neil Young. He's working the high side. There's the 74 of Noah Rainwater underneath the 40 of Austin Call. Now, Austin here getting the Aflac Toyota Supra drafted up here to the rear of the 68. Now, Mike McConville's looking for any kind of help that he can get for the time being as they whish past the start-finish line, and wild and crazy is the 74 of Rainwater. He doesn't seem to be able to get that thing reeled in here tonight. Alan, I can't help that you're spoiled in the Central Time Zone. That's all I'm going to say. Billy Young will remember a Southern man. Don't need him around. Alan, no. No. Stop bothering the nice people, Alan. And rest in peace, Darth Vader. Yes, of course, today we want to remember the life of James Earl Jones. Of course, for many of us, he was Mufasa. And this time, he's not coming back as a spirit cloud. Of course, also the voice of the writer from Field of Dreams. It's Baseball Ray. Some of the most beautiful words in all of cinematic history spoken by James Earl Jones, not only in Field of Dreams, but I'm, biased. And if you watch the Field of Dreams and you are not emotionally moved by the speech that James Earl Jones delivers, then you need to have your head checked. Okay, all I'm saying is I am emotionally moved by it, and I think everybody else should be as well. Also, Alan, since you brought up the Darth Vader character, do you think, and we're under caution, I don't see what it is, but it looks, oh God, this must be a bad deal. I want to know, Alan, does James Earl Jones's real life funeral look like his Darth Vader funeral? Let's take a look back here and see what happened tonight as we're going to start with Noah Hamilton. We go high above. Oh, a little accordion action here, and that is, wow! Matt Mackin in the 01, I hope he was wearing a Hans device, and thank God this is a simulation. Let's take another look at this. As we go to the nose, there's Mackin. Mackin thinks he gets it. He then, Jesus. That is no way to go, that's for sure. As we take another look at this. Now, Gangler here in the 8, it looks like maybe he just had enough time to get on the binders. Nope. Yep. Nope. He was the end of Matt Mackin. Let's see if we can maybe check this out one more time here. Here they come into the turn. Jeez. That's not even happy. Bonsai Buddy saying 2 nights in a row he's been run the hell over for no damn reason. The 43 has wrecked him 4 or 5 times this year. At what point do we just... Bonzi, you're going to have to check with the race admins. I am just the voice of the sport. I'm certainly not an administrator, because if it was my way, yeah, there would be somebody in timeout. Let's see if I can find where Brock Packard was on that deal. And we'll look at it from his point of view. Here comes Packard through the tri-oval and into turn 1. He touches the quad oval. Wow. Yeah, Packard got to see all of this and somehow spins away. Thank you, Brock. "24 laps in the books. We're about 15. We should be at about 15 to go when we go back green flag racing here. We're going to step aside and pay some bills on Sim Racing Media. I'm Dave Regal, and this is Monday Night NASCAR.
the most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed, laser scan tracks, fully dynamic, real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $400,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Welcome back to Atlanta Motor Speedway. As we're about to go back green flag racing here, we hit the Geico restart zone. Brandon Minto drops the hammer, and we go back with 15 laps to go in stage number 2. It's going to be Minto. Oh, dear. I hear all kinds of nastiness on race radio. Something bad must be afoot. As Brandon Minto, Diego Rodriguez, Mike McConville, Dennis Mickelson, and Daniel Moynihan hold together your top 5 here on lap number 26. Dave Regal with you in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast Booth. I want to thank all of you for tuning in with us tonight over on the YouTube.com live chat. Also want to be celebrating, of course, week 1 of football season. Monday Night Football is back on, well, I don't like to watch it, but the worldwide leader in sports, ESPN, and of course ABC. In fact, both of them. You can watch it on ABC, but ESPN is just awful. Side by side, they go into turn 3 as everybody trying to get themselves settled in here, and they've done a pretty good job so far doing it. Right now, it looks like Chris Claude trying to dip back just a little bit behind Sylvain Joly here in the 08 machine. We see Chris in the number 10 Monster Energy Toyota Supra. He goes just along to the low side now of Parker Retzloff in the Funkaway Chevrolet. And now Parker considering maybe he wants to split these two like a piece of wood, but nope. Sticks it right here to the high side. He knows there's speed up there. The problem is getting back through the traffic. As Parker came down on lap number 22, there's a lot of, fresh tires, full tanks of fuel. Everybody going to, be able to get to the end of the stage even on that initial set of tires, but perhaps an adjustment had to be made on the number 5 as he gets the nickel here to the high side of Sylvain Joly. They're almost 3 wide. That's Bennett Allen in the 15. Parker Retzlaff here running in 13th position. He won last week. He's trying to do it back-to-back again this week. And let me know in the YouTube.com live chat what you think of this new landing zone for NFL kickoffs. Very interesting. Right now, the New York Jets leading the San Francisco 49ers 7-6 out in Santa Clara, California. Levi's Stadium. Ah, yes. A Troy Aikman analysis of a play. Fabulous. Happy football season. Third caution of the night now, about 6 laps down. And it looks like there are some hurt feelings here. This may have been involving John Bawalden. Let's take a look. Watch John Bawalden in the 51. Yee. And Parker Retzlaff seems very upset here. Anthony Savignano. Wow! Let's look at this from Bawalda's point of view. John Bawalda's going to see this develop in front of him. He's got no place to go, and all of a sudden he just has a windshield full of Savignano as Savignano bounced just in front of the Jackdaw Motorsports Chevrolet. And I don't even know how I would want to feel if I was John Bawalda right about now. Taking a look at our YouTube.com live chat as we've got about 5 laps to go this time at the line in stage number 2. Bonzi Buddy says the number 12 is a rocket ship tonight. You're darn right it is. Good evening, Tyler. Oh, my goodness. Girls, stop fighting. That's all there is to it. Seems like the YouTube.com live chat's all kinds of cranked up, but we've had 3 cautions tonight. And, you know, some of the interesting part of that is last night we had quite a few, and it's not the end of the world. Okay, cautions are not the end of the world, but I'll tell you what it does. It really drags out your night. And one of the things that we really need to try wow, I can speak well. One of the things that we need to focus on, especially tonight, is trying to clean up what happened last night. You know, last night in the Cup Series, we wound up having 12 cautions for 31 laps, and that is just unacceptable. You know, and tonight we're already a quarter of the way there. I mean, we're not trying to make this an all-night affair. And as I said earlier, if you're going to be up all night, at least make sure that it's worth it. Maybe you're trying to make a life decision, and all of a sudden you're right on the precipice of that. And that's fine. You can stay up all night for that. But if you're here on the racetrack and you're just wasting time, pit road is right down there to your left. Make a hard left. You know, if you're going to be up until 1 o'clock in the morning, at the very least, make sure it's with somebody that you can foresee, you know, maybe the rest of your life being with, not 37 other guys that you're going to forget about in 20 minutes. The iRacing.com pace car peels on down pit road. 37 laps in the books, 38 when we cross the line, and it's going to be 2 laps to go at the line when we come back around here in stage number 1. "38 drivers took the green flag tonight. Already 29 of them look like, nope, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them already out of the race. That's not really, it's not really a good feeling. As I was just talking a moment ago, you know, you can really stretch your night out and make it darn near unbearable. And if we don't get these things cleaned up tonight, it's just going to be a wreck. Final lap of stage number 1. Here we go. Will Young and Mike McConville drag racing down the backstretch as they go John Force style, hauling it into turn number 3. Now the 41 of Will Young being, whoa, there goes the 34. That's Diego. The field is going to freeze. It looks like, boy, Daniel Moynihan, he doesn't have a very good night there coming out of 4. Mike McConville looks like he's going to be scored as our P2 finisher, and Will Young going to win the green and white checkered flag here at the end of stage number 1. Trying to find Will Young. This is kind of a pain in the tuchus. This is like, where's Waldo on Discord? Good Lord. Here he is. He's up here in the free agent channel. Of course he is. Hey, Will, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Buddy, listen, you wind up with the green and white checkered flag here at the very end of stage 1. All kinds of disaster happens behind you. What's going to be the strategy here in 2? It seems like there's all kinds of mess in the back.
Yeah, I was just thinking, just like Ryan Blaney said in the Cup race, basically the best place to be has got to be at the front. I mean, from what I've seen out of my windshield has been some incredible racing. I don't really know what's going on in the back. It doesn't sound too fun, but we've had some nice, close, and pretty clean racing up here, so just going to try and stay up front.
That's definitely the strategy. Looks like you're going to be restarting P7 at the moment, which isn't that bad, but also not that great. So, you've got a little bit of traffic to fight through. You've got some really tough drivers in Dan Morgan, Drew Glover, and Dennis Mickelson ahead of you. So good luck, brother. And, hey, maybe we'll see you at the end of stage 2.
Yeah, I hope so. Thank you for talking to me.
Absolutely is, of course, that the voice of our stage 1 winner, Mr. Will Young, driver of the 41, as we're going to put him back up into the free agent channel. 43 laps in the books as the iRacing.com pace. Back underway at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Diving to the low side almost immediately is the 74 of Noah Rainwater. Now, Noah Rainwater here in the 74, I'm always curious about this. Now, he's from Lincolnton. And with a last name like Rainwater, I really expect this picture of him here on your... Whoa! Out of line is Sylvain Joly as he now gathers it back up. But when I hear a last name like Rainwater, I feel like I should see, I don't know... maybe more of a Washington football team logo. Native American, if you will. .45 laps in the books as Dennis Mickelson going to lead us here on lap 46 at the line. It's been a long season here in the Xfinity Series. Of course, we start back in February. We don't end until November. And believe you me, even here in September, I'm counting down the days until the checkered flag waves in Phoenix. I know all of you are too, but the playoffs are still looming here in the Xfinity Series. Of course, we talked about it a little while ago at the top of the show, and here we are, thinking about it again, especially as those playoff implications can be drastic for many of these guys, especially as they, get into incidents and things like that. I mean, right now, Mike McConville just 2 spots above Brandon Minto here. So, you got to remember, it's only the top 12, and, at this point, it looks like Claude Furlan will be bumped out. Note Parker Retzloff is in nice and safe. John Wilco on the bubble. But, if Mike McConville can finish ahead of Brandon Minto tonight, he can take that regular season lead. just about to reach the 50 Cent piece, and hopefully not the version of 50 Cent who winged a first pitch at a Mets game. Hey. So if we can get through that without a disaster here, we'll be A-OK. As Will Young going to bring us back to the line. He's followed by Dennis Mickelson, Austin Call, Noah Rainwater, Mike McConville, Brandon Minto, Sylvain Jolie, Drew Glover, Nick Hansen, and Michael Witt. And I just realized that earlier I had been saying Michael Witt, but there's no H in his wit. There are some, folks, there are things that you can hear on race radio that I can hear on race radio that you can't. And believe you me, it's better that you can't, that's for sure. As we work here on lap number 51, Dave Regal in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth, just outside the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, here in Norristown. As we have a full-on debate right now. Ahmed, I don't know how much Ahmed I have to get into Ahmed Altaf. But in fact, if there was a level between 1 and 5, 5 being most amount of phlegm, how much phlegm do I need to put in your Ahmed? As Young Camel says, Moyna fans rise up. Mama Mac says, damn it. But Mama Mac, listen, your baby boy right now running in 6th position. He's doing well, staying out of trouble right now. And sometimes I think that's the biggest challenge that we face on every racetrack. Dragons are on, checking in. All right, so Ahmed. Okay, so there's not near as much phlegm as I was putting in my Ahmed. And Dragons are on. Who do I think is going to the World Series this year? I would love to see the Phillies and the Boreals. I would like to see the Phillies and the Phillies and anyone. I would be happy with the Phillies and the North Penn varsity boys baseball team. That would be fine. Yeah, Dragon, I know you want your Astros. You can have your Astros and your orange juice down there, but I'll take the Phillies up here and the fabulous beer and hot dogs. You can keep your... look, orange juice for naming stadium rights. They already did that over in Tampa with Tropicana Field. Ahmed saying that he feels it for the Red Sox this year. Well, since you've all decided to scratch the itch, here we go down the baseball rabbit hole. And in memory of Tony Trapasso, who passed away a year ago last week, it would be at this point that he'd be there with the vaudeville hook trying to drag me away. But now I drive the bus. It's fine. Let's take a look at the standings here for Major League Baseball. And right now, no. The Red Sox are not going to be doing all that great here. Let's see. Do they even have a shot at the wild card? No. So don't worry about it, Ahmed. That's not going to happen. I'd like to see the Orioles and the Phillies face off. I think that a Northeast World Series is the way that baseball should be played. The American baseball that we play today was born in the Northeast. You can call it the New York game. There's a fabulous book called Baseball in the Garden of Eden written by John Thorne, baseball historian, and you can check him out in Ken Burns' baseball documentary on PBS. But, they talk about the origin of baseball in this country. And, of course, it was born what we know today modernly up in New York. In the Elysian, technically it wasn't even New York. It was the Elysian Fields on the other side of the river over in New Jersey. That's a whole nother crisis. But I would love to see an I-95 World Series, whether it's the Orioles or the Yankees. Right now, speaking of which, the Yankees are knotted up with the Kansas City Royals in the Bronx, all tied up at 4 with 1 out in the bottom of the 7th. Bottom of the 9th in South Philadelphia for the Philadelphia Phillies, as they are tied up with the Tampa Bay Rays with 1 on and 1 out. And, of course, as I say that I'd like to see the Orioles in in the World Series. They're losing to the Red Sox that Ahmed wants in the World Series 8-2. Evo TV. All right, here we go. How do I feel about the Guardians? Norristown, the home I grew up in, is 30 minutes from there. Okay. Lauren Sidney, where is 30 minutes from here? That's a big circle. Anyway, Dragons are on, saying true. Of course, agreeing with me, because why wouldn't you, especially when I'm right? And you know what? Dragon has the best point of all tonight. None of our teams are the Chicago White Sox. And quite frankly, I feel terrible for the former president, who is a White Sox fan. He's got to be a little bit depressed. Of course, I'm sure he's got other things to worry about rather than the White Sox. Some big stuff going on. By the way, other big stuff tomorrow night here in Philadelphia. Check out your local listings. I don't have to tell you. Just be smart enough to pick up the TV guide. But you know what? It's not even a TV guide anymore. Just hit the guide button. Souderton. Okay. Familiar with the neighborhood. As, let's see here. Oh, and we're under caution. Somebody's motor just popped. Something very bad just happened. I heard it pop. Let's see if it might have been Dan. Whoa! Nope, that's the 43 of Claude Ferland. Let's see what just happened here. Let's watch Claude Ferland. He gets into the 18. There it is. Ooh. There are a lot of cars that are doing the roll tonight, and don't get me wrong, the roof flaps are supposed to keep you on the ground, but I don't know if they had any kind of wind tunnel testing on these cars, especially, before the repave. But my God. Now we're working our way toward lap number 80. We're almost at the end of stage 2, and folks, things are starting to get drastically different. We're starting to watch, some of these drivers drop like flies. And quite frankly, it's not even like flies at this point. Some of these guys are being dropped like a bad habit. Austin Call, Dennis Mickelson, Noah Rainwater, Mike McConville, Brandon Minto, Nick Hansen, Sylvain Jolie, Michael Witt, Trevor Ryan, Brock Packard. That is your top 10 as we work lap number 67 here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Dave Regal with you here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. We'll be right back as we will be back green flag racing in just a moment right here on Sim Racing Media. Back here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, a live update from the Philadelphia Phillies game in South Philadelphia. As, well, quite frankly, it has been quite a day for the Phillies. Bases loaded, bottom of the ninth, 2 outs, tie game. Line drive brings Harper home. What a game for the Philadelphia Phillies. That is a transcript. And glad to have said it, seen it. I wish I would have been there to live through it, but here I am with you folks here with 69 laps in the books. Right now in Santa Clara, California, it's 13-7 49ers way as Aaron Rodgers makes his return to the National Football League. "70 laps in the books." There's the 25 of Mickelson getting out of the way for reasons I'm not quite sure of. He suddenly hugs the wall and now drops way back right in front of Chris Claude. 10 to go at the line here at Atlanta Motor Speedway in the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series. Of course, Sim Racing Media is brought to you by Premier Racing Setups. Noah Rainwater takes over the race lead. He's got Austin Call in tow. You've been watching the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series right here on Sim Racing Media. Dave Regal with you in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. Thank you all for tuning in tonight right here on YouTube.com. We always are appreciative of those of you who have welcomed us into your homes, onto your phones, wherever you may be and however you may be listening, as we are 73 laps in, now less than 100 to go, thank God. After we have just been littered with cautions tonight. Taking a look here at Will Young, buried back in the field here in the 41, painted as the 68. He's along Daniel Moynihan. Now, Moynihan, of course, down a couple of laps here. In fact, he's down just about 11 laps. Another driver in the playoff hunt. Sixth caution of the night. That's going to end stage number 2. So stage 2 and 1 both ending with a caution. Noah Rainwater picks up the stage 2 win. Let's see what happened here as we go to maybe take a look from Mike McConville's perspective. Oh, my. Oh! The 67 gets hammered. And not the good kind of hammered at a bar either. I mean, like... I mean, there's the 08 coming up. Boom, right into the 67. Ay. If that was from behind, I would say that was someone's first night in prison and they were not friends with their cellmate. Let's see if we can get a hold of Noah Rainwater here. Hey, Noah, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
Buddy, listen, you wind up pulling off the stage 2 win here. Now we're headed into stage 3. What are you thinking with the, the remaining about 82 laps left in the race?
Save fuel, maintain track position, try and keep inside the top 6. Hopefully my teammate Parker can get back on the lead lap, and me, Dennis, and Parker can get cooking here.
Well, I mean, overall, you've had a great race. I mean, you've stayed competitive all night. You qualify P6. You lead this piece now. I mean, you've got Daniel Moynihan. He's going to get a lap back, and behind you is Brandon Minto, the points leader. Brock Packard, of course, also in the 63. I mean, you've got a lot of heavy competition around you. What does it take to keep calm while you sit there and ride through this piece?
I just focus in, let my car do what it needs to do, and just maintain what I've been doing already so far.
All right, brother. Well, listen, congratulations on the stage 2 win. We will see you perhaps on the other side.
Thank you.
That the voice of our stage 2 winner, Noah Rainwater, as he and Brandon Minto going to restart here on the front row. It's going to be Noah Rainwater, Brandon Minto, Brock Packard, Mikey Mack McConville, Austin Call, Nick Hansen, Trevor Ryan, Eli Tomlin, Dan Morgan, and Chris Claude restarting here in the top 10. I'm not going to say it tonight, folks. I'm not going to jinx him like I did last night. We're not even going to talk about the person who I could probably wind up cheering for, like, a fool. And believe me, that's how I felt last night after bad things happened to that particular driver. Noah Rainwater, Brockton Packard, and Brandon Minto lead this piece now, and on the low side, don't look now, but here comes Austin Call in the Aflac, and I'm not going to do the voice tonight, but the Aflac Toyota Supra. We work lap number 83, 80 to go right now. That should put us in somewhere, if we can get this thing all buttoned up, in about 40 minutes. So hopefully not near as bad as it was last evening. I know I keep going back to that, but, you know, this league, these guys know how to get it done, and sometimes you just got to put it together. Oh my! Brock Purdy just launching one into the back corner here. 31-yard field goal attempt for the 49ers. The ball is snapped. The kick is up, and it is good. And the San Francisco 49ers extend their lead over the New York Jets to 16-7. All right, so Ahmed says that he's heading to Assad's in November. Now, we talked about Assad's a couple of weeks ago, and best cheesesteak in Philly. Ahmed, dead serious. If you're coming down here, DM me over in Discord. I will show you where the best cheesesteak is, and it's not in the city. Delicious, and it's only a few minutes from Assad's, oddly enough. Dragon says that you had the chance to go to L.A. this month and had a really good time. It would have been cool to see Fontana, but you didn't have time. And Evo TV knows exactly what I was talking about. The Assad's in Norristown, Ahmed. The Assad's in Norristown. I know that there's one or two in the city, but the Assad's in Norristown. That's the one to hit. Do not go to the produce market across the street. Kind of gross. All of a sudden, I work for the Montgomery County Bureau of Visitors and Travel. Richard Putnam saying Jim's is pretty good. Norristown, Norris. And it is Tyler Hunter, and he knows exactly what I'm talking about as far as the driver that I don't want to jinx tonight. And where is that driver right now? That driver's not doing too bad. Still here on the lead lap. All of a sudden, he's turned into Lord Voldemort, he who must not be named. Lando. Brock Packard now cycles to the lead as he and Brandon Minto are going to start exchanging timing lines here as we work lap number 91 of 163 at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Side by side they go down into the front stretch. Watch Brandon Minto go as he is going to try to grab a little bit of a lower line here. But with the speed as Brock Packard in the 63, he's got teammate Mike McConville just behind him now. As the one machine, here comes the 99 of Nick Hansen. I'm not allowed to say the Hansen line anymore. So Nick Hansen has now busted his way up here into fourth position, now fifth after starting in 12th position tonight. .70 laps to go now as we're here on lap number 94. Brandon Minto retakes the lead. Here we go a little bit back further in the field. Here's Mike McConville now shuffling his way up. We take a look here at Cody Morgan in the 58. We get a chance here to look at the Napa Auto Parts Toyota Supra. He's just along Alexander Gangler in the 8 machine. Gangler has gotten himself back up here into 12th position, up 21 spots from where he had qualified. So Gangler has really been clawing through tonight. He's doing the same as he does just about every week. And here's Rich Jett. This is our biggest mover of the night out of Schwanksville, Pennsylvania. A short drive away from me here. I'm not sure if Schwanksville is Montgomery or Chester County. I know it's not Berks. That's home. But watching the double natural here, that 77 work. Whoa! Behind Nick Hansen. Good God. Let's see if we can maybe get that replay dialed up. And maybe we have just enough time to take a look at it. Here we go into turn number 1. Watch Hansen in front of him, and he gets all kinds of wobbly, and I'm pretty sure, I'm 99% sure that Rich Jett needs to go find whoever's driving the Tide paint scheme tonight, grab that Tide pen and clean out the fire suit. There's definitely a stain there. Rolling out of turn 4 onto the front stretch is Brock Packard in the 63. He's now getting a push here from Mike McConville and Nick Hansen. I'm going to say it. Nick Hansen's bopping his way up here toward the front of the pack now as he is side by side with Noah Rainwater. Rainwater, of course, picking up the Stage 2 win. The Michigan Rocker checking in now as right now he's cheering on Brandon Minto. You know who I haven't seen tonight? So Michigan Rocker, get a hold of him for me. Where's Uncle Scott? I need to introduce Uncle Scott to the room here as he is our in-house celebrity. And you thought I was famous. Wait till you meet Uncle Scott. Uncle Scott's usually tipping back the Miller Lights with Brandon Minto while he gets it done here. Right now, Minto running P2. I mean, good Lord. He looks back. He's got rainwater behind him in the 74. He's got nothing but open racetrack in front of him. And he's here. He's got to be tipping back the Miller Lights with Uncle Scott. Of course, tonight I'm not tipping back the Miller Lights. We've got some Angel's Envy bourbon. It's a delicious bourbon evening as the weather has gotten slightly chillier here in the Northeast. Speaking of which, that's the end of the bourbon for the evening. Race radio is starting to become a little bit civil, if you will. 60 laps to go this time by. As Mike McConville giving the compliment to be a gentleman and a scholar to Brock Packard. Here they are, nose to tail coming into turn 3. All of a sudden, this race starting to calm itself down, and this is the groove that we've been waiting for all night long. As they haul it out of turn 4, the green light still stays on. Everything nice and gentle as even Barney's put the flag down. He's only got green in his hand. We watch these drivers whip it through turns 1 and 2, and as they head back onto the backstretch, these guys have gotten themselves a nice little run going on here. The question becomes, do we start to look for those green flag pit stops? Do we have to worry about those things as we haul it here back into turn number 3? I mean, I would be curious to see when we come in for green flag pit stops. Everybody last came in about lap 80. So I would say we're probably in and around lap 135, 145, somewhere in that window. As we hop over here to the drone cam, we can see Bennett Allen in the 15. He's down several laps right now. In fact, he's down 12. But he's still up here being competitive as he now drafts up to the rear of Mike McConville. Now, the only question that I have really realistically is what's he doing up here behind McConville that close? Is he going to be a helper or is he going to be a hinderer? Is a hinderer even a word? I'm going to have to check with, I don't know. Somebody who knows, is hinderer a word? But right now it looks like the 15 is doing his job as a lap car. But whoa! I just jinxed that one. All of a sudden, we're watching the 15 here. He gets a wiggle. Hey. Manages to keep that moving forward, but that could have been disaster as he's right here in the middle of the leaders. And that's honestly a position that you don't want to be in. You don't want to put yourself in some kind of position where you're up here several laps down. Be a helper. One of the things in life is always, if you're in a bad situation, look for the people helping. And right now, if you are Mike McConville in a bad situation, not up there in the race lead, look for the people helping, like Bennett Allen here in the number 15, of course, out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, your 2021 MNN Xfinity Series champion. Sorry, 2022. That is what it is, 22, 21. He's got some credit to his name, that's the point. Minto, Rainwater, and Packard. That's your top 3. Trevor Ryan and Mike McConville round out the top 5 with Nick Hansen, Austin Call, Will Young, John Wilco out of McAdoo, Pennsylvania, and Rich Jett. They are your top 10. Now, John Wilco last night finished in second, and I'm telling you right now, he should have won that race. He could have won that race. He had a chance to win the Cup race last night. just maybe a little bit too little too late, or maybe too much mayhem, if you will. Good Lord, he was into the thick of it, if you will. Taking a look at the 12 car on lap 112. As Lauren Sidney now saying, let's go Brock, as she's going to cheer on Brock Packard. Brock Packard right now, we can take a close look at him as we zoom in on him. Whoa, getting a little loose there in the Niner Chevrolet Camaro. Whoa! Good gravy. I do like gravy. Brock Packard now managing to keep it together. He now lines up behind Nick Hansen and Trevor Ryan. As we work lap 113, we are 50 to go finally. And with 50 laps to go, we are going to step aside and pay some bills here as things have calmed down on the racetrack. I'm Dave Riegel here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. We want to thank you for tuning in, and this is Monday Night NASCAR.
Basket can't defend. He's got the outside line for the second part, and he can't hold on.
Going the long way around. We're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quinn tries to force it off a little bit, but there he goes. It's going to be side by side through turn 1.
Will he be able to cover him off? He does. Weaving back to the left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it.
They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Frisch on the bottom. Richard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As they're still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
Novak into the fence. They're still beating and banging.
Oh
and to the line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Abramitis is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
Preen Garden Weed Preventer, and Preen Garden Weed Preventer Plus Plant Food block weeds before they start and are safe for use around over 400 flowers, vegetables, trees, and shrubs. Best of all, they give you 3 months of freedom from weeding in just 4 easy steps. You can apply Preen anytime before or during the growing season. But since it's a weed preventer, not a weed killer, early spring is best. Here's how. Start by removing existing weeds and their roots in the area where you want to apply Preen. Sprinkle granules directly onto dry soil, mulch, or stone so that they're evenly spaced. Within 24 hours of applying, integrate the granules into the top layer of soil or mulch or stone-covered bed. Finally, water with a hose or sprinkler, or a well-timed soaking rain to activate the protective weed barrier. When activated, Preen creates an invisible weed-fighting barrier just below the soil surface that targets and prevents weed seeds from sprouting and forming roots. People and pets may enter the treated area once dusts have settled and the area is thoroughly dry from watering or first rain. That's it. Now you'll have a beautiful weed-free space and 3 months to do anything but weeding. Satisfaction guaranteed. Trusted for over 50 years, Preen is America's #1 weed preventer brand with weed preventers for every type of garden.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $400,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Welcome back to Atlanta Motor Speedway, folks, as we are under caution for the 7th time tonight. All 7 cautions have been for cause. Will Young is our race leader. He's followed by Mike McConville, Austin Call, Nick Hansen, Brandon Minto, Noah Rainwater, Brock Packard, Trevor Ryan, Rich Jett, and John Wilco. They round out your top 10. Let's see if we can get a hold of Brock Packard. Hey, Brock, it's Dave up at the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir. I got you loud and clear.
Buddy, listen, right now you're running in 7th position. You're in a pretty good spot right now in Zephyr Hills, Florida. What are you thinking as we get ready to go back green? We should be about 40 to go right now, 39 next time by.
I'm hoping that it doesn't shoot loose like it did on the 20 lap or so run we just had. Big shout out to Mike and Nick in the 1 and 99 for sticking with me through it. Big shout out to Mike for making a rocket ship this weekend. He told us after Michigan we'd never have a slow car again, and man, the last few weeks that hasn't been a lie for sure. But hopefully we'll get the 63 Niner Esports Chevrolet Camaro up front and hopefully get a 1-2-3 like the good old days.
Yeah, I mean, listen, all of you guys have been great. We saw you shoot a little loose earlier during that run that you were talking about. And I mean, was it literally just running out of grip, or what was the problem? What caused that?
It's a little bit of first place syndrome and a little bit of nerves. I've been back in the pack the whole time, so it was all tight. So I loosened it up the end of stage 2 and just loosened it up a little too much. So hopefully we tightened her up a little bit, put some new stickers on her, and fill her full of gas, and hopefully we'll be going to the front.
All right, brother, listen, good luck the rest of the way. Hopefully we can see you in victory lane.
All right, thanks, buddy.
Absolutely. That the voice of Brock Packard, driver of the number 63 Chevrolet Camaro, as we get ready to go back. Green flag racing, the iRacing.com pace car peels on down pit road. Brock, I promise I'm getting you moved back up to the race chat. There he goes as we get back underway here on lap 126. Packard slings it to the low side just in front of John Wilco, as Wilco knows how to get it done. He tried to do it last night. He's looking to try to score himself a second podium in as many nights as he now drafts right behind Brock Packard. Your race leader, though, is from South Jersey, and that's Mikey Mac McConville with the lead. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Of course, Mike McConville, he was your race leader just a moment ago. Here's Noah Rainwater trying to take that away from him as they come down the backstretch on lap 128. Nothing like forgetting to turn your microphone back on. Not like there's a big icon on here or anything with a big microphone on it. Things getting worse for the New York Jets as they now trail the San Francisco 49ers 23-7 in Aaron Rodgers' return to the NFL. Last year he didn't make it past down number 1. And right now he can't get through game number 1 playing against the powerhouse NFC West San Francisco 49ers. Oddly enough, I mean, Aaron Rodgers goes to the New York Jets, doesn't make it past 1 down last year. He went from playing in Green Bay to New York, just like another former Green Bay Packer who retired and then reappeared in New York and then, for some reason, Minnesota. Never understand that. And, of course, getting involved in all kinds of BS in New York was that particular player. Just about 30 to go here next time by as we work lap 133. Dave Regal in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth just outside the city of Brotherly Love, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Keeping an eye on all things sports tonight as the NFL has returned. And here we are on Monday night, and it all comes down to Monday night here on Sim Racing Media. And we appreciate all of you tuning in with us. all of a sudden there's a battle for 22nd starting to heat up here. 23rd, Jeremy Brown. Bennett Allen running in 22nd right now, but right now it's Jeremy Brown and Daniel Moynihan rocking it out for 23rd, and Moynihan wants every point available. Mike McConville now leads this as Noah Rainwater trying to give him a run for his money here atop the pile. Let's widen things out to the blimp view. They are side by side. They can nearly waggle each other's fingers at one another through the window nets as we come through turns 3 and 4. And as we roll it out of turn number 4 back to the front stretch, the edge is going to go to Noah Rainwater. Seems kind of fun, Noah Rainwater. I wonder if he can make it rain for 40 days and 40 nights. I didn't even put this together until just now. His name is literally Noah Rainwater. $139 laps in the books. We're starting to tick them off nice and easy as we've got another good run going here. We had one earlier, and that kind of cost Brock Packard a little bit of space here. As we look on from Brock Packard, Noah Rainwater, Trevor Ryan, Brandon Minto, Mike McConville, Austin Call, Nick Hansen, Brock Packard, John Wilco, Drew Glover, and Chris Claude make up your top 10. As Chris Claude has been quietly getting his way up here. He's got Parker Retzloff in 11th position, and after a rough night, Retzloff is here on the recovery drive. He's right behind Claude, and we're going to go on board here with Retzloff. Retzloff maybe fighting a little bit of a loose condition. Let's see what happens when we go here to the roll bar. Nope, everything looked maybe a little loose. A bump steer action. As he's going to try to trail right behind Chris Claude here. And if Chris Claude wants to see somebody healthy in the rear view, it's going to be Parker Retzloff. We can hear those RPMs pop up just a little bit here, which means that he is in the draft of the 10. Finally, we see the timing tower switch over to 20 to go here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Now things starting to click together for all of these drivers. As we work our way toward the checkered flag, it's going to be Noah Rainwater for the time being. He's got Trevor Ryan and Brandon Minto. And this is the time when we're going to start to see some of these drivers perhaps making a few more aggressive moves than we've seen earlier in this race, as they're trying to jostle themselves forward and put themselves in the position to make that winning pass here on what should be the final lap in about 10 minutes. And these drivers are cranked up to crazy. Trent Curtis checking in saying, go Mike, go Nick, go Brock, go. Watch out for the dirty driving Drew Glover. That is Trent Curtis, of course, one of the partners there at JAR TCR. He is the TC in TCR. 17 laps to go now. Brandon Minto cycles to the race lead. He's got Mike McConville all over the rear bumper. Let's go on board with McConville now, as Mikey Mack is all over the Okie native number 12 Ford Mustang. He's drafting behind him. He's getting himself into position. He's going to have to hold it there for the time being. Rainwater has himself a connection issue here on the inside, so we're going to ride along with McConville for the time being. Rainwater stabilizes at the moment, but here we are with 16 laps to go, and it's still anybody's race. Going to keep an eye here on the 74.
Yeah.
Just had to check in with Chief Cook and Bottle Washer Chris Claude, let him know that the 74 has stabilized connection-wise. 14 laps to go, and Trevor Ryan drops down to pit road. Many of these drivers haven't been down since lap 123. They should all be able to make it to the end here on fuel as we take a look at the pit strategy. 27 laps on these tires. Retzloff, the only driver to short pit, so he's used all 4 sets. No tires left. This becomes a fuel game, and 3 wide. The 40 suddenly wants to try to split the 74. I'm sorry, the 74 suddenly about to split the 40 and the 12. The 40 getting loose just in front of John Wilco, as Wilco has been working his tail off all night long to try to get up here into the top 5, especially in the position that he's in, running 13th right now. We're looking to Watkins Glen next week. That's nobody's friend. And then, of course, Bristol, baby, is coming up in 2 weeks. It's going to be a big deal. So if you're going to try to punch that ticket one final time to the playoffs, this is the one to do it now with 12 to go. Oh, the 74 gets loose. Oh, no! Holy Nikes. The 74 just collects half of everybody, including Mike McConville. Oh, God. Going to try to see what happened here as I've been searching through the replay files. Replay was not very kind to us due to the connection issues that everybody had when they touched the 74. But let's watch this from McConville's point of view. He sees the 74 up here. The 74 gets loose, wipes up into the 12 now, and all of a sudden it just infects everybody. Nine laps to go, and when we go back green flag racing, it's going to be Austin Call, Brandon Minto, Dennis Mickelson, Parker Retzloff, Alexander Gangler, Nick Hansen, Sylvain Joly, Eli Tomlin, Cody Morgan, and Chris Claude. Now, John Wilco sits in 11th and Drew Glover in 12th. I expect to see some really strong moves out of Wilco and Claude as they're both, right there in that neighborhood trying to keep themselves in the playoff picture. Austin Call, though, here in the 40, he's the one that's got a statement to make. As points leader, Brandon Minto, he's now got an edge over Mike McConville of, 13 positions. Taking a quick peek here at Drew Glover as it looks like Dr. Opolos says that he would die on a hillside for the Mooncraft 92. And that is Drew Glover out of North Carolina. And Ahmed, it may be another three-way finish. We had it last night. The drivers had themselves we thought that they were all lined up, and mayhem and all hell broke loose on the final lap. But 8 laps to go here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. The iRacing.com pace car bringing us into turn 3 and 4, and as he makes the hard left turn, let's see if this is the last restart of the race with 7 laps to go. 6 at the line. We hit the restart zone, and Austin Call is down and away here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Six laps to go, Austin Call, and I spoke too soon. We're going to go NASCAR overtime. Let's see what brought this one out. 9th caution of the night. Can you tell by the tone of my voice that I'm not happy? Although that it shows 4 laps to go, we're going to wind up in NASCAR overtime, and I think this is going to be a natural green-white checker. So we may get a couple extra tries at this. Let's hope that we can just get this sorted out. Looks like the one car has now been taken out of the way. That's not a good thing. That leaves Austin Call in the lead with Dennis Mickelson, Brandon Minto, and now Alexander Gangler shuffling around. The iRacing.com pace car lights are out. That means when we come back around, it'll be 2 laps to go. No, Mama Mac, I know I'm not the only one, that's for sure. 3 laps to go. It's going to be 2 at the line. The iRacing.com pace car bringing us into turn number 3. It's time to wrap this up. We have half the distance that half the distance of last night, and almost as many cautions. Green flag flies. The popsicle sticks are in the air. We're 2 laps to go. Austin Call gets a jump over Dennis Mickelson and Alexander Gangler. And here we go. Watch Mickelson. He goes to the high side. Any kind of mistake here, and it's going to cost everybody their race. They want to run this nice and clean as we come back around here. Trying to race our way to the white flag, nearly 3 wide behind. Drivers getting a little chippy here, coming out of 4, back to the start-finish line. We widen things out just a hair. The popsicle sticks go down. The white flag is in the air, and we're racing back to checkers. Chris Claw gets pushed up. All of a sudden, hell breaks loose at the start-finish line. Dennis Mickelson with control of the field. He's got the 40 of Austin Call behind him. As they come down the backstretch, here's Parker Retzlaff. A shove! Wow! What a shove from Brandon Minto. Parker Retzlaff trying to draft his way up to the low side now. He looks to the high side. They come out of turn 4, back to the start-finish line. Who's it going to be? Wow! Those are cars, not wrecking balls. Dennis Mickelson crosses the line. He captures the checkered flag. He's followed by Austin Call and Parker Retzlaff, as that's going to be your podium. Brandon Minto and Alexander Gangler get top 5 finishes. But let's take a look here at that checkered flag moment. Everybody gets shoved out of the way. It almost looks like Minto decided to wiggle his butt. And here they come to the line. The 40 washes up into the 5. The 40 then drives down into the side of the 5, and they still finish 2 and 3. In fact, we may have a scoring problem. Well, that's a crappy way to finish for Parker Retzlaff. He gets too many incidents and a drive-through penalty, so he's going to finish 18th instead of 3rd. But that does move Furta Motorsports' very own Brandon Minto into 3rd position. So let's get a hold of our race leader. He didn't even know where to find the broadcast booth. Hey, Dennis, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
Hey, Dave. How you doing?
Buddy, listen, congratulations as, you bring the checkered flag back to the Rhinelander High School. I mean, wow. What a run you had, and you somehow made that Chevrolet 4 wide.
Yeah, the car was super fast. I got to thank Team Rogue and TCR and everybody at the shop for bringing a super fast car, and I goofed up on the last caution pit stops. I hit the cone and got stuck in front of my car, and I couldn't get it off until like 5 laps into the run.
Oh, good Lord. Well, I mean, look, it was a great finish. I mean, I can't say that you ran up front all night. You still managed to improve 3 spots after qualifying on the outside of row 2, and it feels like that was forever ago. And, here we are at the start-finish line celebrating. I mean, what a run you had, man. I'm not sure if this is going to move you into the playoffs, but at the same time, if it doesn't, you still have a full head of steam going to Watkins Glen next week.
It actually does move me into the playoffs. I needed a win to get in. I started off really good, got good points to get into the playoffs, and then I had a lot of terrible luck. And since the Chicago Street Course, and I needed a win bad to get in the playoffs. So I am in now, and I am excited.
All right, my friend, listen, congratulations. And before we cut you loose, who else do you need to thank, and who else helps you get it done on the 25?
Need to thank everybody, TCR and Team Rogue, and I got to especially give a shout out to Parker Retzlaff for saving me when I lost the draft after my cone incident, because without that, I would have been stuck in the back by myself. And obviously, thank you, Dave, for your fantastic broadcasts.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate the kind words. Congratulations once again, and we will see you next week at Watkins Glen.
Thank you very much.
That the voice of our race winner, Dennis Mickelson, as he pulls off the surprise win here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Next up on the podium is Austin Call out of Spring, Texas. Hey, Austin, it's Dave. You got me?
Yeah, I got you.
First question is Cowboys or Texans?
Cowboys can go dig themselves a hole. I'm a huge Texans fan, so.
All right, well then, listen. Let's just get this the fuck over. No, here's the thing, man. You ran a heck of a race tonight. I mean, all things considered, you managed to sit up here and climb up 8 positions after qualifying in the top 10. You get yourself onto the podium with all kinds of mayhem going on around you, and somehow, this is going to improve, at least for now, your standings in the regular season.
I'm not competing for points. I think I've only been racing since we got back from the Olympic break. So, I mean, second's awesome, but I want to get a win. That's kind of all I'm here for, is get wins, at least for this season. But yeah, I don't think I left the top 10 the whole race. That was a lot of fun. And I got to block Parker Retzlaff.
There's not many times in a guy's career where they can say that they blocked a professional driver here on iRacing. That's definitely a feather in your cap.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't the cleanest block, but it got me second. So sucks that I think he got a black flag for that, which obviously you don't want to do to somebody. But I was hoping that maybe that it would give me a little bit of a push. But I mean, congrats to Dennis. That was a hell of a race from him. I was hoping he would just push me. I could force him on the bottom line to just push me, but he just goes straight to my outside, and that's how you win races.
Absolutely. Well, listen, before we cut you loose tonight, who else do you need to thank, and who do you need to tip your helmet to help you get it done on the 40 team?
I mean, I don't actually have any teammates. It was your friends are where you find them today. I'm glad I didn't kill Mike McConville earlier. He said he needed a new change of underwear after I blocked him earlier. But other than that, I just got to thank my family for letting me do these races. I mean, I don't do as much iRacing leagues as I used to do, but it's still early dinners, and then I got to get all my homework done. So I guess I got my homework done for today. So I thank myself for not procrastinating.
My man. Well, listen, congratulations, and we will see you next week at Watkins Glen.
All right, thank you.
And last but certainly not least on our podium, this is a little strange as Brandon Minto gets into third position by default after Parker Retzlaff was given a black flag post-race. Hey, Brandon, it's Dave.
Hey, Dave. How's it going?
It's going good. I mean, listen, you got really lucky here with Parker getting a black flag. That gave you third position instead of him. That kind of sucks for him. However, great for you here in the 12 team.
Yeah, absolutely. I think because I think his final 4X there came post race. I don't know if Chris is going to review it, so he may still get his third place spot back, and I may end up fourth. But it was a great points night. Me and Mike McConville pretty much were either finishing right next to each other, or there's a couple spots between us, I think, at the end of stage 2. So this finish definitely helps me out. It's just awful what happened to Mike, though. We had a great race, and then just I don't know what happened. We were just on the outside line, and then next thing I know, I'm in the wall, and then he ended up going back down to the pits to get damage fixed, and I don't know where he ended up finishing, but it was great racing with him. Like, we were keeping it clean, just like I talked about post race. Like, we were just not doing anything too crazy, like not constantly changing lanes, and it was a fun race up until whatever lap 155 or whatever that was. So yeah, hopefully I can keep this momentum going into a road course next week, but I'm not very good at road courses, so I'm just going to try to practice as much as I can.
You always tell me that you're not very good at road courses, but somehow you still finish fairly well. And I think one of the things that does help you with that is because you know that you're not that great at them, quote unquote. You still wind up, practicing even harder, which makes you even better at them. It's just maybe not your cup of tea per se. But, hey, listen, congratulations on the P3 finish tonight. Before we cut you loose, who we need to tip our helmet to?
Oh, I got a lot of people to give a shout out to. Dave, I want to give you a shout out. You always put on a great broadcast. I love going back, showing this to my friends, watching all this stuff. Got to give a shout out to my parents for tuning in. My Uncle Scott up there drinking along, tuning in. And then a lot of work friends. I got my good friend Rich. He tunes in every single week, so I'm glad he was able to watch this one. My friend Scar, and then my girlfriend Addie for hanging in. I don't know. She doesn't know much about NASCAR, but she watches all this stuff and always congratulates me after the race. And so I'm happy that I can get her in watching all these races and everything. So, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Just remember, NASCAR is an addiction. You got to get her someplace and have a good time watching a race. You got to make sure that it's, look, you're only down in Oklahoma. It's not that far of a drive to get to Arlington or Fort Worth. But, you got to make sure to get her infected with that NASCAR bug. And that way she can snort a line of asphalt just like you and be excited every week.
That would be great if I could get her to go to a NASCAR race. But, yeah, she's actually stationed up there in the Northeast. So maybe I may end up having to – it's going to have to be next year, but maybe I have to take a trip up there, try to get her to go to Pocono or New Hampshire or something.
Buddy, I'm telling you right now, you come to the Northeast, you call me.
Oh, I absolutely will. Yeah, I spent 7 years. I was stationed up there in New Jersey. So I got a lot of time up there in the Northeast. Oh, yeah. Definitely. Is definitely
the best
a great
toll
statement.
that I pay is coming back across the bridge.
100%. You got to pay to leave New Jersey, but it's free to enter.
Yeah, they let anybody in. It's just hard to get out. But listen, man, if you do come up to the Northeast, you give me a call. We're going to go hang out, check out some Pocono action together. Absolutely. But congratulations tonight here in Atlanta, and we will see you next week at Watkins Glen.
Yes, sir. Have a good one, Dave.
That the voice of Brandon Minto, our points leader and third-place finisher for the evening here in the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series. Dennis Mickelson picks up the checkered flag tonight, and as he captures that, he's joined on the podium by Austin Call and Brandon Minto. Alexander Gangler helps him out here and rounds out your top four with or top five alongside of Nick Hansen. Eli Tomlin finishes in sixth with John Wilco in seventh. Mike McConville, Cody Morgan, and Sylvain Jolie round out the rest of your top 10. Brock Packard finishes in 11th, while Noah Rainwater gets done here in 12th position. Michael Witt and Rich Jett finish 13th and 14th, with Drew Glover and Dan Morgan in 15th and 16th. Chris Claude and Parker Retzlaff come home in 17th and 18th, while back in 19th and 20th is Will Young and Michael Pilardi. Jeremy Brown and Daniel Moynihan finish 21st and 22nd, while Bennett Allen and Sam Bolin come home in 23rd and 24th. 25th goes to Trevor Ryan, with Matt Mackin in 26th and Ron Fitting in 27th. 28 goes to Bel Air, Maryland's John Bawalda, as he had some bad luck in the 51 earlier, with Mr. 305 Randall Watkins in 29th position. Claude Ferlin finishes 30th, with Keith Black and Diego Rodriguez in 31st and 32nd. Ethan Ball and Anthony Savignano finish 33rd and 34th, while Kavaja Holt comes home in 35th. Noah Hamilton and Logan Giesbrecht come home in 36th and 37th, while 38th place finishing here tonight is Richard Pruitt. Somebody had to finish dead last, and unfortunately tonight, Richard, that was you. But a great race overall from all of these drivers. I can't believe how incredible this competition was tonight. And I just want to tip my cap to all of them. I want to thank everybody for tuning in here on Sim Racing Media. And, of course, tomorrow and every day as you walk down the road of life, please don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.